I have a cookie.
Just watch a little bit more of the Detroiters.
Yeah,
it sounds,
Detroit City. I
it,
started watching it again too.
it's so weird,
Um,
but I like it so much. Like it's
yeah.
it's complete nonsense.
One of my favorite is in the second episode, because I relate to it. It's with Theo Huxtable, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Is that
Yeah,
his real name?
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
We're trying to pitch him that idea, and he's like, he tells Tim, this character, he's like, "Man, you look tired." It's like, "No, I'm not tired. This is just how I
Yeah,
look, sir. My face."
it's just
It's like,
my
"No, no, no, like
face.
your eyes. No, no, no. That's just the
Yeah,
way my head is. My skull. I."
yeah, that's what he says.
It's
He goes,
like,
he goes. No,
yeah,
that's just my
it's the way my
skull.
skull is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no, your eyes they're deep and they're dark circled, and no, that's
Yeah.
just my skull.
I know. I was like, that was so funny to me because obviously, I mean, I can relate. I was like, I don't have a great skull. I have a large forehead.
When it comes
I have
down to it,
sunken in eyes.
when it comes down to
Yeah,
it, and it
an
does come
overbite.
down to it a lot.
That's just who I am. I was born with a giant head and a fantastic receding hairline. What a partnership! What a 1-2 punch!
Nailed that genetics.
Yeah. Let's go.
I've confused my priorities. Isn't it supposed to come to me? Yes, this is how it's meant to be. Every little thing flashing on a screen.
Hola. Hola.
My daddy
Hola,
worked hard
Juanita.
for this.
Hola, Juanita. Man, this is the first time I've ever started a program after, like, right after work.
Mhm.
I'm always
Mhm.
waking up,
Good
basically.
firsts. Good
Or I
firsts.
didn't work during the day. Yeah. So I got that work energy. You know what I'm talking about. Coming home and not wanting to do anything.
Sherbo's calling me again. Mom's calling again.
Really? Do we need to start with that?
No, I'm not answering this one.
No.
No.
What do you suspect? What do you suspect?
She's returning my call, but just got back from
Mhm.
a vacay. Trying to
That's right.
trying to plan a trip for them down to the Dirty Jers. So
Mhm.
there's things to talk about, but nothing important, nothing of relevance, nothing time sensitive.
So you did, what was it, Florida? You hit another baseball stadium?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That
Give
is
us your
the
review.
16th different home game. I've seen 17 parks if you count the old Yankee Stadium. So it's 16th team though. So I'm now over the halfway mark for seeing MLB teams in their home stadium.
What's your review of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays?
It's weird. It's small. It feels really small. It feels like the smallest park I've been to. Now, looking up the attendance, it doesn't appear that is the smallest park. It's about in the middle, but it does not feel like it holds 47,000. I think was somewhere around there. Was what I
Really?
saw, but it does not feel like that. Like it seems like there's like a deck missing. It feels no bigger than a AAA stadium, like Syracuse, Buffalo. It feels no bigger than those stadiums. So I don't understand where these people are. I think it's all hypotheticals because I don't think they've ever sold out a game in Tampa ever. So overall,
And
though,
actually,
I would put it, if I was ranking overall experience, probably around 10. Number 10, number 11.
oh, I thought you were giving it a 10 out of 10. I was like,
No.
wow.
No. I would.
You're very
Yeah.
generous.
It's not that great. 10 out of 10.
I give everything a 10. I love my life. It's so
But
great.
yeah, I mean, I've certainly been to worse, but baseball in a closed stadium is a bad idea. I don't care what
Does it
you're.
open up?
No,
Can it?
no,
Or no?
the
Okay.
Trop is 100% closed.
Yeah.
So that's
You
the
love going to a
thing.
baseball game and looking up and seeing an industrial setting.
Yeah, especially because
a
you're
lot of
and
rails.
it's dumb because you're like, oh well, humidity and stuff. But it sounds stupid when you're like, oh, it's covered. Where do you play? Florida. And I mean, you can't be having those outdoor games in Florida. So
they're good though, aren't they? Tampa.
they
I've caught up a little bit with baseball.
They lost a couple games. They went
Oh.
their first 12 went win streak. They started the year on a 12-game win streak, I think it was. Nope. 14? Yeah, so they started 14-0 or excuse me, 13-0 it seems.
Shut up! You're killing me,
So
Smalls.
yeah, something like that. But for those of you that are not baseball fans, that's pretty wild. But also,
Wow.
there's 162 games.
See,
It
yeah.
literally
let's see how the
doesn't
next 148
matter.
are.
It doesn't matter.
So were there more? Didn't you say you went to a Red Sox
I
game?
went to a Red Sox Tampa game.
Were there more Red Sox fans there, or fans for the league leading Tampa Bay
Yeah,
Rays in
I
their
mean
own home stadium?
there are Tampa fans down there. They're mostly children and people over 70. It's weird. Like that's who I felt like I was their crowd.
That's Florida.
Yeah, that's true. That's Florida in a nutshell. But yeah, I mean, there's a good amount of Red Sox fans. So being a Yankees fan, it was a little weird to see a divisional game where you don't want either team to win. So,
Boom shakalaka!
And this has been Sports Talk.
there it is.
What
There's
about
your hot assessment.
So what's wild to me is you used almost a third of your vacation to drive, right? Essentially,
There's a lot of hours.
you drove 2 days there and 2 days back.
So
Or-
we left Saturday morning just before 7 a.m. We stayed at Caitlin's stepbrother's house in South Carolina, Bluffton, South Carolina. That was about 12 hours, I think, maybe a little over 12 hours. No, about 12 hours. Then the trip to Tampa the next morning was about another 7. Now, we were in Tampa, and then we stayed with Caitlin's family just in Orlando, and we drove from Orlando back to South Jersey in a straight shot. It was not the GPS. There's nothing more disappointing than your GPS calculating in the driveway when you're leaving and saying that your destination is 999 miles away.
No.
So we left.
How many?
We left her.
So what does it say? Like 29 hours?
We
or
left
something like
her
that?
aunt's house at 10 a.m. and we got home yesterday, Saturday morning, at just after 4 a.m. So it was about 18 hours of driving. And really the only stops were bathroom, usually double up on bathroom and gas. And there was no real eating. We kind of like brought stuff and just kind of munched on stuff in the car. So
what's your road trip strat? Do you like being behind the wheel? Do you like the driving? Do you like splitting it up? Would you prefer to just ride the whole way?
I like driving. I don't sleep well in the car or at all, really. So I'm not a car sleeper. So sitting in the passenger seat, it's weird when it's two people, it's tough because I feel like it's rude to do something that shuts you off from the other person.
Right.
Like it seems rude. So like I don't read.
I feel like you have to stay up for the moral support.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just kind of like, I mean, I'd rather drive just because it gives me something to do. I mean, I brought the Switch, didn't touch it. I brought books, didn't touch them. Brought crosswords, didn't touch them. So I'd rather drive, but that being said, she is not the greatest passenger. She likes being in control, so she can't not pay attention.
Like navigation wise, or like you're getting too close to that car.
No,
or
meaning, no, I don't like to say she likes being in control. Like she comments on the driving, she just can't handle it. So like she grabs like oh shit handles and like like she physically reacts so often because she's not controlling the vehicle. She doesn't drive any safer or more cautiously than me. But
so wait, does she sleep then at all?
She did sleep once when I was driving, and it works best for both of us if she can fall asleep so that I can drive as I need to. But so she drove most of it. We took her car because it's so good on gas. Yeah, we took a Kia for the entire trip. That thing is incredible on gas for being not a hybrid. We were averaging 44 miles a gallon, which I didn't even realize they made cars that have that good of gas mileage that aren't hybrids. So yeah, I mean, it's just making
Yeah,
stuff.
that's the measure of a good trip. The MPGs. Let's talk
I'm
MPGs.
a
It
numbers.
buried the
I'm
lead.
a numbers
Yeah.
guy, man. If
I
we
know.
took my RAV4, it probably would have averaged about 28, 27.
What was what's the highlight of the trip?
I mean, seeing a baseball stadium is always a cool experience for me. But
Did you touch water?
that aside, yeah,
Did you touch salt water?
I went into the ocean. In St. Petersburg, we went to the beach on Tuesday, and I did go into the ocean. I finished up a book that I was reading, so I was happy to get that done. I went to Hulk Hogan's beach shop in Clearwater, Florida, which I forgot that he had. There's a big Hulk Hogan statue out in front of it. And then inside, they have like classic matches playing, and there's just memorabilia everywhere. And I got a phenomenal shirt from Hulk Hogan's beach shop.
Really?
And
is it within distance?
Yeah, I got to get it. Give me 1 second.
I got to see it now. The great thing about Hulk Hogan's beach shop, if you've never been there, and I haven't, is I imagine everybody there has bleach blonde hair and loves the band Poison. You probably got to have those jeans on that have like a bedazzled cross on them on the back. That's a requirement. A bandana to help you fit in. If I go there for the wings.
All right.
Oh boy, Hulk Hogan apparel. Oh, good, still on the hanger.
It's one of those if you know, you knows, which I am a big fan. I will premise that I'm a huge fan of those types of shirts that are referential, but that doesn't flat out tell you the reference.
I don't want anybody to like this except for me.
I want that I want what like Jeep drivers have, where they like salute each other, like on the road. I want that for someone with my T-shirt. I want someone to be like, "Yo, I love that shirt." I'll be like, "Brother, solidarity."
Yeah.
It's the Philly Times.
Bellow Thunder Lips. Hell yeah. That's pretty common. I mean, Rocky 3.
Sure.
Well, that's good.
But I like that it doesn't say like Rocky 3 on it, because that would ruin it. But I do like that it's just Philly Times, Balboa versus Thunder Lips, the ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
Do you think that Hulk Hogan's restaurant has regulars? Or is it a tourist trap?
Yes.
Both?
So there's actually a witty sign that they have at the counter that says, yes, this is Hulk Hogan's store. Yes, he does come in here usually once every other week. No, we won't give you his address. No, we won't give you his phone number. No, we won't give him any personal messages you leave for him. Yes, he does sign memorabilia and comes in often to do signings. Yes, you can leave something for him to sign and we can mail it to you. So I'm like, okay, there's actually like some solid stuff in there. But yeah, I mean, it's 100%.
A lot of FAQs.
It's 100% a tourist trap because it's in the heart of the touristy area of Clearwater. But it seems like he frequents it, and I'm guaranteeing there's regulars. I mean, it's wrestling. There's 100%. Are you asking me? Are there people who are inappropriately obsessed with something related to wrestling? Yeah, I'm
but
very
not even
confident.
like, because it's like it's definitely because Hulk Hogan,
its purpose is
as the years have gone on, it's now like looked back on, especially by the wrestling nerds, as like, oh, he wasn't a good worker. He wasn't.
That's correct.
He was just a showboat. He was an egotistical dude. He always wanted the title. He was just a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was Hollywood. But there's people that are still into that, and they live in Florida. Yeah. I'm guessing they show up, and it's like, hey, how was your day? Mm-hmm. Oh, it was all right. Saw a gator. Let's talk WrestleMania 7 again.
Right.
Dude, Sergeant Slaughter, I can't believe you betrayed the United States. I can't believe you went to fight for Iraq. That was bullshit. But Hulk Hogan saved our freedom again.
Thank goodness.
Just like every day.
Thank goodness. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, overall, that was really fun. Went to Disney for the first time in 30 years. So we went to
Disney proper, Disney World.
Yes, went to Epcot. So,
did you meet any celebrity mice?
I did not. I saw them from not too far of a distance, but there was a line for every mouse and or duck.
Really?
Yes. I did ride the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which was totally awesome.
Is that like a 3D roller coaster thing?
It is a roller coaster.
Actual roller coaster.
But it's inside, and there's video boards, holograms, and like it's supposed to make you feel like you're in space. Like it's insane. It's completely insane. And so not only are you going on a roller coaster ride traditionally, but your cart spins to the side for some of it, will spin backwards for some of it, all while you're going on a normal track. It's pretty wild.
What's your motion sickness tolerance?
I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I crush it, 1 means I puke when I sneeze. I would say I'm a solid 6. I didn't like rides as a kid, more because I was nervous and they made me feel unsafe. As an adult, I warmed up to them in my 20s, but my motion sickness would be more likely to get a hold of me than the fear of the ride. So it was a little rough. The guy next to me, if I'm a 6, the guy next to me was probably a 3 because he had a great time. But then as soon as the ride ended, he got off, found the nearest trash can, and shared his good time with the trash. So
I used to be good. I think I used to be good, but we went to a Six Flags in San Antonio a couple of years ago, and it was like a weekday, and it was like the post-COVID world, but there still wasn't a lot of people there. So we surprisingly, like every ride we went to, we were on. So we went in there. The first thing we went on was called Goliath. And I don't know if it's called different things elsewhere, but it's this really tight. It's not like big drops, but it's more focused on the G's. So it's like it loops, goes upside down, twists, does all this stuff. And it was the first ride. I basically lost my voice right away. I couldn't scream anymore because I was like screaming so hard, and then I couldn't do it anymore. And I was just sort of got dizzy. And I was like, wow, that was crazy. Like, because usually then you'd be like, oh, we'll be on our next ride in like half an hour. That's how long it takes to walk. Then you're in line. We walk right next door. The next one, we're just, let's go on this one. And it was like, it's called the skateboarding thing, but it's a roller coaster and it's not crazy, but you sit in a thing that does circles. So as you're going, you're like spinning around the whole time as you're going up and down. I was like, okay, that was a lot. Then we did right after that the one that just goes straight up into the air, and then drops you.
Yeah,
like
I have no interest in that.
Yeah, so it was fun. But after that one, it was like that all happened within like 25 minutes. All 3 of those, and I was like, I can't.
Yeah, that's a lot going on.
I was like, I'm gonna shit my pants or throw up or both. So I had to take like an hour off, at least like an hour and a half off while my friends went on other rides. And I was like, I guess I can't hack it anymore. Yeah. My body can't. So it was fun, but I don't know if my body just wasn't cooperating. My stomach, my brain felt like it was going to explode. Like things were moving or tingling in places, and it was too much too fast. So it took me, I did go on like 2 more.
Yeah.
A couple more rides. I did like one of my favorites ever. I've always liked the swings, you know. That was like one of my first rides as a kid.
Sure.
Because it's not like crazy motion. It's a little bit dangerous because you can kind of have fun with, be like, oh, if this broke now, I'd hit that guy or I'd run into that.
What's my launch angle? What's my launch angle on this?
Who am I going to hit? So this one went up probably like 200 feet into the air.
Nope.
Yep, and you're just looking down.
See, it sounds like it's not the more intense ride, but like looking at it, you're like, I'm safer in a roller coaster than this effing thing.
Well, it's funny because my one buddy didn't want to go on it, but I was like, this one won't even make you sick, I guess, unless you are petrified of being really high in the air, which I guess.
And suspended by old rusty chains.
Yeah, because then when you're looking down to see where you're gonna hit, you're like, oh, that's death. That's death. That's death.
Haha. It's funny death. Because they have to worry about where I land, but I die regardless.
Yeah. But I had a couple more, but I couldn't so I don't know. It was like my last time. It's been a few years, and next time I would probably plan. Maybe I'd take the Dramamine. I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah, it was cool because too, like the Guardians thing. You know what? Disney crushes it with the Guardians thing. So, I had to join a virtual queue at 1:00 when they open up the floodgates for the afternoon. So at 1:00 I had to join a virtual queue via guest relations. That put me in a group, and then you follow along, and they call groups throughout the day. My group didn't get called. I got into the queue at 1.
Is that just for the Guardians?
Yeah, for Guardians, because it was a newer ride. I got in the queue at 1. At 1:00 on the dot, as soon as it opened. I didn't get my group called till 6:05 p.m. So over 5 hours later, and then I waited an hour in line. So, but what's cool is that during the line part, they're playing stuff and there's things basically keeping you distracted, which is nice because that's not the case in every ride. So it makes you forget you're standing in a freaking line for an hour. But I like themed stuff. Like Guardians was really heavily themed. Like there's of course music playing, like 80s soundtrack throughout the entire ride while you're inside. I did we were on guest passes because Caitlin's cousin works at the park, so we got in, and those guest passes were allowed us to get into Hollywood Studios too. So we went there in the evening just for like an hour quick. And then we realized Galaxy's Edge is part of Hollywood Studios, the Star Wars part. So we got to go to Galaxy Edge and I got to do Smuggler's Run. So I got to do one Star Wars ride, which was also really fun. But yeah, like theme stuff is, I can dig it. I can get down with it and being like, I like that the restaurants are themed to it. Like Galaxy's Edge, everything is Star Wars. Like you feel like you're straight up on Tatooine. And of course,
I gotta make it.
And there. I was wearing a Cantina Band shirt, so I fit in. I nerded out.
Hell yeah! Yeah, I really want to go to that. The Star Wars one. Yeah, I think you're right. I have more fun. Like I enjoy the roller coasters, but if it's part of an experience, like remember, wasn't the biggest thing we were going up the band trip of 6th grade or 8th grade? What grade was it? I don't remember.
Well, it depends which one.
But yeah, I know. We went to Canada's Wonderland.
That was 7th and 8th.
And they had this ride. It's called Days of Thunder, based on the 1980 whatever 6 movie Days of Thunder,
starring Tom Cruise.
It's Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, and it was the coolest ride. Like everybody would tell you about it. Like people who are already in the band, they're like, "You're gonna go to Canada's Wonderland, and you're gonna have to get on."
The 8th graders are telling the 7th graders.
Yeah. And it was. I mean, it's cool. Now it's essentially a movie theater that you get into, and the seats move, and you're going with it. It's like it was very cool. I enjoyed it.
That was like the one ride that I went on because I didn't want to go on roller coasters when we were there.
Yeah, now it's times 1,000. Yeah. Plus, you had to worry about bees.
Yeah, and having the right footwear.
Oh wait, what was that again? I forgot.
That was the 8th grade.
Did you only bring your dress shoes?
My dress shoes for the band competition and wore those with shorts for the next day for Canada's Wonderland.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
So
you wore socks. They were like
livid.
They weren't even. They were like just the cheapest like Payless type dress shoes that you'd only wear like once a year probably type shoes.
They were awful,
clunky, and
so uncomfortable, and so. My mom's a chaperone, so that makes it worse because I'm like, I don't know, Mom. I'm like, yeah, take the bus and go get me shoes or something. She's like, there's nothing we can do. You are just a man without sneakers.
Nope.
So I'm like, do I wear my dress pants so that the shoes don't look weird? But no, I'm like, no, I'm wearing my shorts and t-shirt. I'm just wearing dress shoes. So we went to Funscape after the competition. And I wore dress shoes there. And then the next day we went to Canada's Wonderland and I walked around all day with dress shoes as a 13-year-old. Very depressing state of affairs. I was not happy.
Still sticks
and I don't think we won that competition that year. I think we won in 7th grade, but I don't think we won when we were in 8th.
We weren't good enough.
What was it called? Not Mumford. Mumford was a different thing.
Medina or something like that. Medina? I don't know.
Something.
Medea.
Middle school
goes to jail. Band competition.
Medea and Ernest go to jail. That's what it was.
Are you still allergic to bees?
I am still allergic to bees. That doesn't change.
Yeah. Okay.
If anything, you become more allergic. I am irresponsible.
So, like, did you bring an EpiPen with you to Florida?
I should.
You didn't?
I did not. No. I rolled those dice bad. Dude, I mean, a few years ago, I mean, EpiPen, epinephrine was a big thing in the news because it's just so ungodly expensive. And it's like, a lot of people need that to live. Can you not make such a well-needed thing like $900 for an injection that you tell us expires after a year? So
they're only good for a year?
Yeah, dude, they have expiration dates. Dude. It's medicine. So no, I don't. Just keep the old cell phone on me, 911, and I hope for the best. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
have you avoided?
I have not been stung by a bee since summer of 2004. I think, was the last time I got stung by a bee, and that was
I'm
at the
gonna
Great
knock
Race.
on wood.
That was at the Great
And I
Race in
can't
Auburn, New
wait
York.
for the story next week about you getting stung by a bee this week.
Oh my god!
I mean, I wish you
It
the
can't
best.
be worse
Nothing
than the
too
last
hard.
time when it fell out, when it landed on my beer and I drank it and it stung me
Wait,
in my
what?
mouth. Yeah.
What?
I was at the Great Race at the foot of the lake in Auburn, New York. It was a team race consisting of a runner, a biker, and two
canoe or a
canoers
kayak, yeah.
or a kayaker.
Mhm.
And then at the end, there's a big party at the foot of the lake. And so I was a supporter of those athletes by going to the lake and started drinking at about like 9 a.m. So noon rolls around and we're having some cocktails and a bee lands on my beer and I don't notice it. And I put the can up to my lips and the bee goes in the mouth.
It was on a can
Yeah,
too.
the bee goes on the mouth.
It wasn't even drowning. It was just
hanging
alive
out
on your beer.
And so then I feel it in my mouth and it stings me and I spit it out. Luckily, I didn't drink. I spit it out, step on it, and I'm like frozen for like what seemed like an eternity. Our friend Mike looks over and he's like, "What was that?" I'm like, I think a bee just stung me inside my mouth." He's like, "You're allergic, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so
it's gonna go well.
Yeah, so I'm like, because it was a large event, there was EMTs on scene, so they were actually pretty close by. So I'm like, I'm gonna walk over this ambulance because I'm like, I don't trust I know what's gonna happen, and if it happens fast, I want to make sure I'm near medical professionals. So I told them, I'm like, listen, I just got stung by a bee. I've been drinking and I don't have my EpiPen. And they're like, we should probably get
That's
you.
all you
Yeah,
need to
I'm like,
know
we
about
should
me.
probably get you to the hospital. I'm like, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, they took me in the ambulance. I went to the hospital. I started having trouble breathing probably within 60 seconds.
Like, did your tongue swell up?
Yeah, more like throat and like mouth. It's like,
but your throat is that how it works? Do you just your throat swell up anyway, no matter where you get stung? Is that kind of how it works?
No, for me, it's very contingent on where it is on my body. Is sometimes it can just be drastic. Like I got stung behind the knee once, and my leg just got gigantic, but like it didn't seem to really get above my waist. So like I just took a bunch of Benadryl. This was when I was 12, 13 maybe. But for this, since it stung me in the mouth, I'm like, okay, well, let's not take chances. And yeah, they took me to the ER and rushed me in and, hooked me up with a bunch of things, give me a bunch of shots. And then I think, I want to say I think Mike's brother, Jay, was delegated to pick me up from the hospital. And I went back to the house party where people were hanging out after I left the hospital. I'm like, what am I gonna go home? What's the point?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was the last time I got stung by a bee. So we're going on 15 years.
Hey, congratulations.
No, 15 years. That's not how math works, Jeff. 18 years this summer. 18.
Have you had? So I know we talked about your back. Have you had any other injuries in the last 15, 20 years? Like any surgeries, any broken bones?
Not really. Surgeries, no. Broken bones, no. No. Believe it or not, other than the back, I haven't had any traumatic incidents. How about yourself?
I broke my knee playing slow pitch adult softball in 2007 or 8. I was running to first base, a grounder to third. I was like, I'm gonna hustle this one out. I'm gonna make him make a play. I'm gonna trick. You never know in softball. The throw can go anywhere. So it's like put the pressure on that third baseman. So I'm charging. The throw's off, but it's off like in the baseline. So it's like the ball is between me and the first baseman. So the first baseman's great idea is to dive to catch it. Dives at me. Head hits my right knee. Contact. I go head over heels, and the ball is going flying. I know because I broke his glasses. I know, kind of felt bad, but not
no,
that
he
much,
did that.
I was like, oh, and I just saw the stars. Like, mustache hair in your mouth. Do you ever get that? It's always pleasant.
So I shaved it down.
Stars immediately. I was like, oh, this hurts, and then it didn't hurt, and I was like, oh, this is the adrenaline. This is happening. It's all trying to tell me it doesn't hurt, but it does. And I put my finger on first base, and I was like, this is so baller. Oh, now the pain hurts. It was like I had to get carried. I mean,
Where was
the
this?
worst part was getting.
Was this Texas
It was
or
in
DC?
DC when I lived in DC. Yeah. So it's like an international education softball league,
Sure.
really high level.
Well, yeah,
athletes,
you hear about those.
Definitely one of those parks where you only can get it inside the park home run. There's not like a fence on it at all or anything like
How
that.
deep center field? I don't know, 6, 7, 800 feet, whatever you feel like.
Well, if the ball goes into the woods, we just kind of stop.
Yeah, game over.
But yeah, getting carried to the car was the worst. My knee was swelling up. So I fractured my tibia, so the bone underneath the knee split open, which is, I guess, is a very familiar injury for senior citizens. I learned at the hospital. I was like,
so
that makes me feel real good.
Your patella was fine. The bone.
Yeah, thank you. Great question. Yeah, it was just the tibia. For some reason, like underneath.
I didn't know that was the thing.
Yeah. So like the where like if you press on your knee and just go to the outside of it underneath that the the little $50 that you have there, whatever that's called.
Patella.
Okay. Oh, that's what you were saying. But yeah, fractured. I got a couple screws. Fortunately,
hardware still in there.
I guess that. Yeah, they're still in there. I could have liked to get them out, but I was like, "How do you do that?" It's like, "Oh, you gotta
an excruciating surgery for no reason, really."
I'm good.
Nope,
I'm good. But yeah, never really hurt again after that. But it was the worst. Actually, getting the X-ray because they had to like straighten out my knee and it was swelling and bent. That was bad. But I remember calling my dad that night because I just wanted to let him know. I was like, "Hey," it was like 11 at night. I was on morphine too. It's great. Good. I was like, I'm at the hospital. I broke my knee. I think I'm gonna be okay. And he was like, "All right." It's like,
I can hear
my mom.
I can hear
I was
your
like,
dad.
"Who's that?"
I can hear your dad just being like,
"Yeah,
okay, well, thanks for calling."
Yeah. And my mom was like, "Who's that?" He's like, "This is Matt." She's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Oh, he's in the hospital or something." My mom like flipped out. She was gonna drive there to Washington D.C. overnight, like come in, like. But cooler heads prevailed.
Sure.
Which is, I mean, I get it. I get why she would have been frustrated by that. I feel like it's kind of like, he's already there. I mean, what can we do from here?
Did you call the house phone? Yeah, at that time you would have probably called the house phone, right? Now,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, you're just like, all right, cool. Dad answered.
The only phone number I have memorized.
Good, Dad answered. This will be quick.
Yeah. The best part, the morphine was good. The best was those Percocets, man. So I got probably the second worst injury I've ever gotten, actually. So a couple days after, so I was on crutches, no weight bearing for 8 weeks. Percocets, really my first real experience with painkillers. Let me tell you, I get it. I get it. They're awesome. And I guess people respond to them differently. But they're like, here's a prescription for Percocet, and we also recommend you get over-the-counter stool softener. And I was like, I ain't no bitch. My stool's soft as shit already. Come on, get out of here. I poop good, girl. Are you kidding me?
Broken knee or not, I poop fine.
Yeah. You don't know anything about my poop. And a few days in, while those Percocets were working real nice, like I'd crutch over to the bookstore across from me. I was just like, I'm just going to read every book here. I got like a pile of 5 books or go book at a time. I don't know why. That's what it did to me. I'd watch movies. I just saw stuff really differently, and I think if anybody out there is a doctor and has a prescription thing you can just send without consequence, let me know. But apparently painkillers make your stool hard as shit. So yeah, like 3 to 5 days in.
Do you realize what you just said? Makes your stool hard as shit. That doesn't make any sense. Your stool
like super
makes your
super
shit hard as shit.
Yeah, old stool. I'm just being technical.
As you were.
Just the doctor's terms.
Sure.
All of a sudden, I was like, my tummy hurts. I was like, this is weird. Well, I better shit about it. And I couldn't. There was no shit to be had. And I was like, oh no, this is bad. I need those. I need those stool softeners.
I need stool softeners right and
now.
Coffee.
Yeah. So I crutched over to like a CVS in pain, like utter pain, like one of the worst pains next to breaking my knee, honestly.
Like your stomach
constricting. like getting stabbed and
with a
whatever ripped
butt
apart,
from
but also squozing
from inside
Yeah,
with your own
yeah.
poop.
It was
Yeah.
awful.
That's a
And
weird.
I found some stool softener there, and it said take like 2, should take effect in 24 to 72 hours. I was like, what the fuck? No, are you kidding me? I can't.
What do I
have
do
this.
in
I
the
can't live like
interim?
this. I know. I can't. So I think I don't know. I might have bought some whatever, the creamy shit, the creamy shits, the milk of magnesias, or the X-Lax, one of those. It's like this isn't a real emergency. I would take myself to the hospital for this, but see, kids, play with painkillers all you want, but there is a consequence,
Right, and that's
it's hard poo poo.
yeah, and
That's the worst consequence.
That's your poops.
Yeah,
That is your.
that's
poops.
what they talk about. I think that's whenever I hear about the OxyContin epidemic in the country,
Yeah.
I just think of all those people that can't poop.
Yeah, you never hear about that
real
on
sad.
like True Life,
Yeah.
like I'm MTV True Life or like Intervention. You never hear about like the I definitely don't miss the withdrawals and all that. It's like, and I certainly don't miss the dense poops. Like people talk about love and sobriety, but they should talk more about being able to poo freely because that's important. And there's it's bathroom stuff is it's so inconvenient. All of it is the process of having to do it. And then like sometimes it's like, don't eat this, it'll make it too dense. Don't eat this, it'll make it too loose. Like you can't win. You can't. And it's tough. We all deal with it. But we have to deal with it in silence because it's still kind of taboo to talk about. But not here. Not on this podcast.
Not on this show.
It's okay.
Actually, yeah, Strange Fam, please send us your favorite or least favorite poop experience. Let's do an episode of poop experiences.
Wow.
What's that? The fans demand it. I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it from outside. I know it. We won't say your name, Bill Sweeney. Yeah. We won't say your full name. Dude. We promise. Yeah. Please send us. Do it on the Spotify or something like that. Comment on it, or in the Apple podcast.
Yeah, I don't know if you
can.
Can you comment? Yeah,
YouTube,
can you? How do you do things?
We need to come up with an email address. You know what? Honestly, send it to my DMs. It is to one of our things. I mean, we promise that we won't reveal your name unless you say.
Yeah, you can DM Strange.
Reveal my identity.
You can DM the podcast on Facebook. We do have Facebook presence.
Oh, we do.
Yeah,
cool.
There is a Strangely Familiar podcast Facebook page. You can, if you haven't already liked it. I know there's like we're in like triple digits for people that like and follow it.
Get the fuck out of here!
Listen.
Wow.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah, exactly. So please feel free. Send us a DM.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll know you had that issue, but I'm not judging.
We're not here to shame. Listen, we're sharing our stories.
Like, listen.
Shame no more.
Yeah.
All right, listen.
It just is what it is.
And honestly, if you want to share
this is kind of like confession. Like, I'm not here to judge you I'm not here to judge you for your poop sins. I'm here to absolve you of your poop sins.
Yes.
Don't be ashamed of them. They happen. It is what it is.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Look out, Drew Carey. Did we just come up with our theme for our podcast finally? 12 episodes in, poo confessions. Actually, I guess I already had the terrible shit story in Russia. So
that's true. It
didn't take us hard to lean into that.
Nope. And now, I guess it always just circles back. So as consistently inconsistent as our topics have been, it's hard to go 10 episodes and not revert back to a poop story. So,
I did either bruise or fracture ribs once too.
Okay.
In Austin, it was awesome to have a little scooter. I don't know if you ever ridden a scooter or a 2-wheel motor.
Yeah, like the ones you can rent in cities.
Probably like a Vespa kind of thing or whatever. Not like the Lime or the Bird scooter that you stand on.
You're talking like a Vespa. No, I've never ridden one of those.
Okay. I did that. I rode a motorcycle just to get my license in Texas, but then what if idiot? Like my buddy and I, we used to ride. Number one, it's awesome to ride around town. Go through the neighborhoods, easy to park downtown. Don't take the highways, obviously. But I would never really wear a helmet ever. Sorry, Mom. I never do this, and she probably also never knew this. This is another call that I made to my dad or told my dad about, and I don't think he ever told her. But here you go, Mom. She would have been like don't ride this anymore. But I was riding. I think it was like going home in the morning from a girlfriend's house, and I would take like the back roads. So I was actually crossing over like a highway overpass to get onto like just like these kind of back roads, and a car just merged into my lane, but didn't merge in front of me. Like merged
Into
and
you?
just his bumper clipped my front wheel.
His rear
And I
bumper?
went, yeah, clipped the front of my wheel, and I went over. I landed like I fell completely over. My ribs like landed on the handlebars of the thing, and I just like slid on the asphalt. And it just kept driving, and I was like, "Baller move, dude!" I was like, "Oh, this hurts so bad."
Stop
This
with your
hurts so
baller
bad.
move. I'm safe. Car hit and runs. Oh God, I'm so baller.
Yeah, yeah. And I think instinctively, since I wasn't wearing a helmet, which I would say wear a helmet. What an idiot I was. But I think I was protecting my head by just landing on my chest, like, ugh. And the pain didn't hit me. One of my brakes broke. I kind of like walked up. Like people are like, "Are you okay?" And you don't even know what to say then because you're like, "I don't know. I guess I'm standing up. I don't really know. This hurts." And somehow I made it back home with like one brake, and something else was broken on it. And I just remember getting into my house. And I think I just almost, if I did, start crying. Just was like, "This is the worst. This is like utter pain." And it just like it stayed with me for like 2 months, like just whatever. I don't know if you ever bruised ribs or I don't even know if I fractured. I didn't have good insurance at the time,
Well,
so I was
good
like,
news for
I'm not going
you.
to pay for that.
Even if the rib is broken, working in insurance and in injury claims, good news for you is that even if the rib is broken, you know what you do for
Nothing
it?
you could do.
Nothing. You just sit there
Nothing.
and
I
you
know.
be
Yeah,
in
yeah,
pain. The end.
yeah. I looked it up. The worst is just coughing, sneezing, anything like that, laughing. But just trying to sleep is the worst when you do that. And the advice they have is you have to lay on it because you want your breath to go up towards your back or whatever. And it was really bad. But I'm glad I survived. But I remember calling my dad. I think I told him like, "Don't tell mom." It's like one of those. I don't want her to not let me ride this, even though I'm an adult who makes terrible decisions. Like I'm free to make these decisions.
Well, right. Well,
Um,
because the idea is it's already happened. I don't want to
yeah,
hear about how bad of an idea it is. I know we're talking only
yeah,
now about it because I got hit by a car. Like, and that's why
yeah.
you don't want to add the chat about it because you're like, no, I don't
Yeah.
want to be telling you. Not that I think you're gonna hold
Yeah.
over my head, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I would have.
You should see the other car.
I
Uh,
should too. I didn't though. I also didn't see a
yeah.
license plate. Damn it.
Nope, didn't see
Yep.
anything.
So
Yeah.
for all of you, if you hit someone in a hit and run in Austin, Texas, it was probably Matt. So
That's the thing. I mean, with the bike, anytime you're on two wheels, it is a great lesson because it teaches you defensive driving because you have to assume everybody's going to do the wrong thing at all times. If you
100%.
don't, you'll die.
Yeah, I went for a
Basically.
run today, and right in front of my house, there's a stop sign, and people don't stop at the stop line, and so I swing out because this it's like an angled intersection. They can't really see around these bushes, so they all just kind of gun it up to the bushes where they can see out. And so I take this sweeping turn to get back to in front of my house, about 15 feet in front of the stop line. And as soon as I do that, this lady comes up to the stop line and stops like 6 feet past it. And
Dude, you see that motorcycle going in your bed? It's like perfect timing.
and so right. And so I literally just stop running and I just stand in front of her Cadillac and I just stare at her. I'm like, you need to stop at the bleeping stop line. And she just stares at me. And I literally am standing in front of her so she can't drive. And then I see her like fiddle, like, I'm like, she's going to put down the window. And I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes. She's like,
She's got a gun.
I couldn't see around these bushes. I go, but there's a stop line. I'm like, stop at the effing stop line. I'm like, that's why it's there. I'm tired of people not stopping.
Dude,
And I
you
just,
gave it
oh
to her
yeah, I
like
just
that?
started going.
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
some lady, probably like in her mid 40s, late 40s.
Dude, that's so old.
And just started
40s.
ripping. No shit, but I was gonna say, I'm like, she's a mom driving a big SUV, and I'm like,
Yeah.
stop at the fucking stop line. And she's like, well, she goes, I wasn't running. I go, stop at the fucking stop line. I go, I live right there. I'm like, stop at the effing stop line. And she just eventually goes like, yep, you're right. She didn't
Whoa.
apologize. At least I don't think she did. I was kind of in a bad mood anyway, and I was right at the end of my run, and it's really hot out. and I'm just like, I don't want to get by a car, but I didn't let it go. I yelled at her. I publicly shamed her.
Dude, that's a great way to get out of your
That's
bad
not
mood,
the, that's
huh?
not the
On somebody
that's
else,
not the
on a
first time I've
stranger?
done that on a run where I've stopped in front of someone because they don't do something responsible, and I just start reaming them out on foot. I'm a bit.
Do you just carry that
I
energy
do.
with you?
I do.
And, like,
If I'm
wait
having
for
a
a stranger to
if I'm
come by?
having a bad day
Yeah.
or a moderate day, I don't care. I'm tired of everyone driving like a complete fucking moron. We hand out licenses way too much. People suck at driving, and it's annoying.
I kind of like, I mean, I don't like doing that either, but I'll do that once in a while too. Like, just build up, nothing crazy, not like super mad or
No,
frustrated, but it
no,
happened to
because
me.
I don't want to
It
be
worked.
threatening, but you're gonna fucking
Yeah,
listen to
no.
what I have to say.
Yeah. There was a girl the other day. You're not going to believe it. She was probably on meth. You could tell from all the pock marks on her face.
In Auburn?
And she was in the store, like just, all the red,
Sure.
little things, I guess, that come with meth. She was hanging out for like an hour. Like she was sleeping in the bathroom or something. She was all over the place. How much is this? How much is this? Just laying on like a pickup area. And she wasn't doing anything. She was clearly loitering and just on meth.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, with my AP guy, I was like, "Hey, you got to get out of here." It's like, just, you're not doing anything here. Like, this isn't your hangout. I mean, and then she kept getting mad about it, and she's like, "Oh, there's people out there. They're waiting for me." And I was like, "I don't see." Like, she was like paranoid. So I get her outside, and she's kind of waiting. She's like, I'm waiting for my mom to pick me up. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, okay." And I just kind of went back out there a couple times, just doing work, just seeing what else was out there, just see if she was going. She's like, "You can't fucking sit in the, you can't even fucking sit in the store." And it's like, you know what? You could sit in the store, but I guarantee you couldn't sit down now if you tried. That was like my big gotcha. She was like so methed out that she was just twitching so hard. And I was like, I dare you to sit down right now. Like, if you can sit down, I'll let you sit in the store. I just took it out on her. No reason except for she's just totally like tripping on meth, and she didn't know what I was saying anyway. But I was like, I'm going to use this as my vehicle to take out some frustration.
Yeah, you're gonna
on the
be my wailing
situation.
wall because you're not
Because it's not really a victim.
No, you're not
Yeah.
offended. You have no idea what's happening right now. I don't even need to be saying words, and you'll interpret it
Yeah.
the same way.
And you're already in the wrong.
Right.
So it was a victimless show of emotion by me. So I just jumped on it when I could.
I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. People get away with too much.
Yeah.
They do.
Do you think you will impact that woman's life today for a day? Do you think you're going to ruin her Monday morning? Think
Ooh,
she's
I
gonna wake
hope
up
so.
about
Wouldn't
it
that be
tomorrow?
nice?
Think about it.
I hope so. I hope she went home and had, because the way she received it, it seemed like she was receptive to it. So,
Does she have kids in the car?
I don't know. If they did, they kept their little fucking heads where they should be, and that's not engaging. So, I don't know. Maybe, hopefully, because I would have loved for a kid to hear my F-bomb. But, yeah, I mean, I don't regret it in any way, shape, or form. Most people need to be told that they're horrible at driving. And we all do it. Like, I have some space, like, everyone who drives makes errors or has certain intersections or tendencies or places where they normally speed because they're like, this posted speed limit's too low. Or no one drives perfectly. But you have to understand that if someone calls you out on it, like, that's all. I'm not a cop giving you a ticket or anything.
You just gotta be like,
I'm just someone calling out.
Sorry.
Yeah, I done fucked up. You're right. I screwed up. I'm really, really sorry. You are 100% right.
Last night I almost witnessed a tragedy. I was over at my sister's house, and she lives across the street from a church, in a church parking lot. Saturday night, Catholic church, getting out, and old people walking through the parking lot. I think one of the women, like, she had a walker. And they're clearly like in their 70s, just walking slowly, so they couldn't get out of the way. But this would have been senior on senior crime, so I don't know how they adjudicate that, but probably like any other crime. But a car was backing up in the parking lot, just inches away from them, kept backing up, and all they could do was like do these like wave. They couldn't even barely make a noise, and they weren't a fleet of foot. They couldn't get out of the way. And I was watching. I was like, oh my god, I'm about to witness senior drive-by, or some kind of a hit and run. And it stopped. By chance, it stopped. They clearly didn't see them, but just backed up enough and then went forward, but never saw them. And so just two old people almost taken in the prime of their lives. I couldn't watch it. Yeah, I could. It was the worst. I was like, oh my God, how does this go down? Like, and I was just like, people know who's in that car. So church next Saturday is going to be a banger. It's going to be like, anybody have any sins? Anybody make any mistakes this week driving in our parking lot? Looking at you, Carol.
Yeah. Any
I
sins?
saw you. We got you on camera. Yeah. We got you on DV camera. We got you on 8mm out there. Okay. That would have been terrible. That would have ruined my night. After seeing yesterday the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, how was it?
I saw it.
What do you opine?
Highly, highly watchable. Comes in at a nice tight 90 minutes.
I did hear the runtime is fantastic.
Perfect.
It's not Sonic the Hedgehog
2.
Okay.
No.
So
it's great. It's kind of like an origin story. But the animation's great. The story's pretty basic. But a lot of good Easter eggs, a lot of good like Mario lore, but it all kind of fits in well without being like heavy-handed or like we're trying to shove this in. I think it ran really well. They've got some Mario Kart action, some Smash Brothers action. They got characters you know.
Is there any Super Mario Brothers 2 in there?
There's not. Not to my knowledge.
So now is that brilliant?
I'm hoping in Mario.
Is that brilliant
yes,
because that's supposed to be a dream? So is it like good job for not including Super Mario Brothers 2?
Like there was no Birdo.
Right.
There was no like magic carpet. There was no like vials of like whatever the chemistry vials that turn into doors. There wasn't like radishes.
No dancing.
So I'm hoping Mario Brothers 2 is all that. It's basically Aladdin Mario movie.
Okay.
But there's definitely like references. I mean, there's like bits. I mean, there's like Punch Out. There's like Kid Icarus references.
I hear Jack Black did a very good job.
Oh, I think everybody did a good job. Like people were like giving Chris Pratt shit, I think, but before they'd even seen it, and they kind of dispel early in the movie. It's not really a spoiler because it happens right away. Like the idea of that's why he's not going to talk like it's me, Mario, the whole movie. And I think they did a good job with it because I think it would have been kind of unbearable if he did that the whole movie. It would have been fun for a little bit, and it is fun at the beginning, and then you're like, this would have been tough for the whole movie to do this. But Luigi's great. The show stealer, I'm not going to say why, is Luma. So I don't know if you played Mario Galaxy, the Wii game.
Is that the star character?
But there's these Lumas, the little stars. Yeah. It's in there, and I'll say that's the star of the show for me.
The star of the show.
Ooh, boom! Oh hell! Nailed it.
A new high score.
What does high score mean?
But watchable.
New high score, is that bad?
I will enjoy it more. You know.
Okay.
I'll watch it again.
Did you
just truly enjoy
it?
Did
you go by yourself?
I didn't. I went with a young boy.
Johnny.
Yes, my nephew. Yeah, right. He really wanted to go. So, yeah. It was his second time. But
oh man,
I was
so he took you
the Mario and
so
Luigi.
He was like, all right, I'll go again for my uncle.
Yeah. He just wanted to watch me watch it.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I had a Mario outfit from last Halloween that arrived like a week after Halloween. So I never got to wear it for Halloween. So I had to default to Yoshi. Thank you, Spirit Halloween. This is an ad. And he was Luigi. So I never bust out the Mario outfit. It was like, let's do it. Let's wear this.
Did you wear it to the show?
Let's go full on. So I put it on, tried it on, and it didn't fit. It was like, it fit around my belly, but like from... Bless you. From taint to shoulders. So I it was gonna be full on wedgie, and the buttons weren't really sewed on for the overall. So as soon as I didn't even get the one button on and just popped. I was like, I could go like, crisscross, do the one, the overall one hanging down.
So it wasn't.
So we wore our hats.
It was just too short.
Yeah. Not in the legs, like went down to my ankles.
You don't have a long torso.
Not on my legs.
Is this built for someone with with an extra small torso?
I don't understand. I don't know. It was the most awkwardly fitting thing ever. And I was like, I have Mario body. I have a
You
plumber's body.
kind
I
of
got a belly. Like I
you
should.
kind
I'd be perfect for it.
of have
Yeah.
Mario's
It's
body.
like, how can this not fit me? This should be T to me. Like, this is, like I am the Mario. Like,
it's a me, Mario.
Yeah. So I wore the Mario hat. He wore the Luigi.
Okay.
But yeah, my nephew's like, do you think they're going to think we're brothers? And I was like, hell yes, they are. So we got into the concession stand and the guy was like, oh, look at here. And I was like, yeah, we're brothers. Wink. He's like really into it. So good experience all around.
Okay.
I would recommend it. I saw it's also in 3D. I might go solo to that one just for that, because 3D is not for everybody, and I don't think every 3D is good. But I could maybe do 90 minutes of 3D just to check it out.
I in general like. Yeah, no, it's every movie shouldn't be in 3D, and they definitely overdo it for some. I did see the original Doctor Strange in 3D, and that was absolutely warranted.
Whoa.
I didn't get to see the second one in 3D, but the first one I did, and it was phenomenal. I saw Avengers: Age of Ultron in 3D, and I think those are the only two big recent movies I've seen. But animated movies, I think you're probably pretty safe for 3D.
The best one I saw, it was in an IMAX 3D, so giant thing. It was also in like they also use it as like a planetarium thing, but it's like the most gigantic IMAX I've seen. Big stadium seat deal.
Mm-hmm.
Avatar, the original Avatar. And it was basically made to be in 3D. So it was a beautiful experience. I really enjoyed that. But there's a lot of 3D movies that just kind of suck. And 3D doesn't do anything for it, really. I think I saw one because a lot of them are just ported over, Sorry, pull back the curtain, Hollywood. They're not made for 3D. Plus, it's just rough on the eyes after a while.
It is.
It's got to be like really good.
It is. I wish I had seen Ready Player One in 3D. That's one of my favorite. That's probably one of my favorite movies that's come out in the last 10 years.
I enjoy it a lot.
But
that's why my handle's Ready Player Jones. Get it? Because there's a one in there if you look real hard.
That's good.
I read Ready Player One in 3D. Well, the book was 3D. The text was in 2D.
Okay. Right. Yeah. But
So 2.5D.
that's a handheld book.
But
that's how books are.
Yeah, it felt like I was reading a movie.
That's a book that I want to read. I'm not big into fantasy, but I've heard the book is phenomenal. If you love the movie, then the book there's no reason you wouldn't love the book more.
And actually, it was a couple years ago, Ready Player 2 came out, and I still haven't read that. You know what? Amazon shopping cart, you're getting rated tonight.
I wonder if that's gonna get to a movie.
Might as well.
I bought Guardians tickets for the next Guardians movie. I bought them in advance for like the first week of May, like Monday of the opening weekend.
Is that because Caitlin's cousin works at Disney World?
That
you got them in advance?
That's just our Cinemark sells them that way.
Oh, neat.
But yeah, I mean, that might be the last Marvel movie that I really have to see in the theaters. I'm thinking about taking
what an announcement.
Taking a step back from Marvel.
Wow.
Thinking about it. Not fully committed, but
breakup.
No,
or you just need some
I just
space?
need some space. I got to stop back.
You think they need to develop themselves?
Yeah.
Grow.
It's going to be a streaming thing. It's going to be a streaming relationship, I think.
That's fair, considering I might watch Cocaine Bear tonight. It's already out there. I'm very excited.
Is it on?
It's already on Peacock. Yeah,
it's on Peacock. Yeah. So I can see Cocaine Bear for free.
So is Knock at the Cabin.
Well,
so
I did see Knock at the Cabin, as we know. But Cocaine Bear, I do want
for episode 13. Should we regroup about Cocaine Bear?
I think we should. I think we
Let's
owe
do
it.
that. That'll be our second movie.
We need time crunch. We didn't do the dice, and we're at about an hour runtime right now.
Dude, we can roll the dice over.
Did we want to address Forgive, Resolution, Incredible?
Okay, those were the ones. Good. I mix up all the dice together.
I try to write them down.
These are the ones. Yeah.
I try to write them down somewhere.
Well, I hope you forgive me. I did not think about this question.
That is.
Actually, do you have anything? I mean, do you have anything compelling or thoughtful at the moment about it?
Forgive, Resolution, and Incredible.
I think there are words that deserve But that's not the. You know what? Conversation dice aren't about thinking about it for a week.
No.
They're about rolling the dice and letting it
I mean,
kind of like inspire a conversation.
forgiveness is part of resolution. Like, you
Sure.
forgive so that you can have resolution. And I think that it took a long time to realize that. I try to be in a place where I don't hold grudges. It's not worth anything. It doesn't do anything. So I try to make it a habit of forgiving people. I am a pretty forgiving person, so that I can have resolution. Being an anxious person in general, I have one friend that's going to go nameless, but one person that I did have disconnected with, and it's on purpose. Meaning, like,
Ooh.
just the stuff that they would do, it's kind of like fall by the wayside. Just kind of like not, they end up being like a bummer, so they're not really fun to hang out with all the time. You have common interests, but like in the heat of the moment, they can give kind of like humdrum or like kind of negative because they think it's funny to be negative, and just kind of like bring nothing to the table anymore. And I don't mean that to insult them, but it's like I literally can't think of advantages of hanging out with you. And so like it's kind of like, all right, like, listen, I'll be here if you need me, but until you really like change the way that you act, I mean, I don't hold it against you. It's just like I needed the resolution to be like, oh, maybe, maybe they'll change, and just keep hanging out with them and keep seeing if they're going to get better and be a better person. And then when they don't, you're just like,
Yeah, because then it's like it's not a fit anymore, really, for
yeah,
what you got
but
going on with your life and personality and kind of your values or who you are.
yeah. And it's,
You know.
but like if they ever were to come back and like try again, and like it was always, I felt like it was always me making the connection and trying, but like, I would, they never were someone that had a ton of money. So, multiple times people would pay for their, hanging out, and, they wouldn't chip in for something, and we would all kind of be like, well, whatever, we'll cover it. We'll cover it. We'll cover it. But it was never like simple, like thank yous and stuff like that or anything like that. So like, it's just kind of like actions that really kind of,
That's kind of annoying.
yeah. And it's just like
not self-awareness
yeah.
enough
And it's like,
about
you know
it
what,
or
man, like
something. Or...
I'm happy to pay for people. I just like them to show appreciation. Like that's all I'm looking for. But like I also like got like concert tickets once, and then they said like, oh no, yeah, I can't go. And of course it's like, well, there's 0% chance of you paying for your ticket, right? Like
Yeah.
we both know that that's not going to happen, and it didn't. And so it's just like, I think that was kind of like the final straw where I'm just like, all right, I'm like, listen, I'm done here. Like it sucks because we do have a big history together, and part of like a lot of a lot of good stories that I have involve that person. And yeah, it's just kind of like, okay, well, for now, until something changes on your end, like we're done here. But I don't hold anything against that person. I forgive them for anything that I might have used to hold over their head more aggressively, and having that resolve is good. And that is an incredible feeling to not have that held over someone. So yeah, that's what I'll contribute to these words.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything specifically, but kind of along that is like, I think in a way I could be a pushover because I feel like I've had back and forth with people before, or like gone back and forth on relationship intensities with people that maybe I didn't feel as strongly about, or maybe it shouldn't continue. But I'm a sucker for the humanity of people. So um, even I had a girlfriend once who, whenever she drank, she would get like belligerent, like would want to fight, like swing
Ooh.
fight, something like that. We were never physical like that ever.
She'd
I
want
mean,
to fight you specifically,
I
or
never
she just
struck that woman.
she was
No, with me. I mean,
if she
it
was
could have
if
been
she was
anybody,
in
but it just
public,
happened
she
to
was
be
most
me.
likely going
Yeah.
to get into a fight.
Like, yeah, and if she got like, she would get like sobbing, crying out of nowhere, like like way emotional, like couldn't handle, like, and I don't know where it stemmed from exactly. But I remember one Valentine's Day, like we went out. Actually, like it was like a reservation dinner thing, like in downtown Austin kind of thing, and it was like a big deal. And like I got like chocolate covered strawberries and stuff, and it was like I was like really going all out kind of deal. And she just, I mean, everyone knows it was champagne, but all of a sudden she was getting that. Like you could see, like I don't think it was her. I mean, but it was just like a flip switched, and she just would become this person where she would like sit on the curb or start yelling at stuff or people or be upset about everything. And some people are just like that. I mean, there's got to be something deeper. I guess I never figured out what it was. That's probably why we're not together. But also, it wasn't for me necessarily, in a way, because we got back into her car and she just started like slapping me, like or on my shoulder, just like pushing, and I was like, what's going on?" Like, I mean, we're not even fighting. I
So
don't
there's
know
not
what's
even
happening.
context.
Yeah, we're not even fighting. We're not like fighting about anything. And she just started crying, and then she like took all the strawberries and like threw them in the car on the window, like all
Ooh.
over the place. And I was like,
Okay.
this is crazy. And it sort of happened one night after we went to a concert too. And we were just walking back, and she just like broke down out of nowhere. I mean, it was like obviously some kind of like, I don't know that she had any like particular trauma per se, but whatever was built in her didn't jive with alcohol and the way she could express the way that she
Uh-huh.
felt. But she took it out in extremely violent ways.
Mhm.
And in a way, like I think I should probably be more angry at it or upset or like sad. I don't know, like because it's like she kind of did hit me in a way. It's like, and I guess we don't think about that in our society in a way. It's like, but I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I didn't. I mean, ultimately, I was just sad, like for her that she had to experience it that way. So then I was like, um, but ultimately, I'd be like, I'd forgive if she. Well, I mean, because I think she's a good person. Like, I don't know whatever this is, the demon juice that gets in you that turns you into this person.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that that's really her per se. But then at some point, it's just like, I don't know, doesn't work for us, or I mean, again, guess what? Next person she did after me got married too, so worked out.
There you
Good
go.
luck, Matt.
There
I
you
know,
go.
so,
Some would call you a hero.
Yeah, but even in cases like that, it's like, because to me, it's all about the humanity of it. So, like when you're saying that person came to you now and was like, "This is who I was. This is what happened. I don't know why this happened, or I can't explain it. I can't explain myself or justify anything. But either I'm sorry or I'm different. I'm trying to be, or at least one thing, I can acknowledge that I made a mistake. If somebody comes forward like the humanity of whoever they are, because I would want them to do that
I
for
would
me
be
too.
blown
Yeah.
away if this person did that in a positive, and I mean that in a positive sense of being like, how can I hold something against you if you're acknowledging that? Like, that's the thing. And
Yeah.
so like I don't need him like to do that. So like it's just like, listen, for your own benefit, I hope you've changed, because it's not a me thing. Like that's just not gonna fly with really anyone. I guess if you found someone that's okay with how you were, great. I mean, cool, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
for your own sake, like you say, it's like yeah, I appreciate the humanity part of it. It's like, well, I can avoid you. Like, meaning like,
Mm-hmm.
not like I don't have to, I can create my own situation where I don't have to subject myself to the things that you do. It's unfortunate because I'd like you to just not be that way so that we can continue to have a relationship. But if we don't, okay, moving on. I
Yeah.
hope the best for you. Bye.
Yeah. It's like a balance of like, is this person giving more or taking
Mhm.
more? And it's definitely a very grown up thing that you deal with. Like I mean, I've done it with people before too. It's like this person, like I've had people where it's like this person's a good person ultimately,
Yeah.
and I love them, but they take more than they give, or it's like somebody can be like a succubus on your life, and all they do is consume your
Yeah.
energy and your feelings, and then it's like, but they don't. Yeah, it's either take it for granted or it's not a return of it or acknowledgement of it, and it's like the math. It's a math problem
Yeah.
now. Like this doesn't equal this,
There you go.
and like it's not. Yeah, but well, tell that guy. I don't know who you're talking about, but you got up to 20 years. You better figure it out. You better come back before 20 years is up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the rules, and we didn't write
Yep,
them.
because I'm not going to start a podcast with you.
Yeah,
I've already
taken.
done that idea.
Yeah.
I've already got that. I'm not starting 2 podcasts. I don't have that much to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wanna rock the?
Well, that was a quick.
Yeah,
That was a quick
good.
10 minutes reveal.
Why don't we
Rock the what?
roll for next time? Why don't we jump right into?
Oh yeah. I don't know. I was trying to.
Wow.
Almost ditching the pod. Honestly, I was just trying to see if the right song was on. I didn't realize the volume was on.
This guy.
Hey, this is new for me. I've only done this 12 times.
Right, we're literally regressing with how well we handle this. We have next to nothing of consistency with this podcast. So now we're going to take the two things, which is agreeing when to end it. We're throwing that out the window. Matt's just going to end it whenever he feels like and cue the music. And two, the dice, which we're really having a hard time. We've forgotten times. We've come in at the end. We have suggested pushing it to other times. Matt wanted to push this one down the road. That's what you were trying to say before I said, let's attack.
I was. You're right. Dude. You called me on my bullshit, dude. You called me on my bullshit.
The very small things we do consistently, we are trying to bail on.
I was trying to procrastinate. Yeah. I was trying to procrastinate on this shit. Hey, but you know what? Every Wednesday, sometime between noon and 10 p.m., there's a new podcast out.
So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to Jay and the other diligent Strange fam, because I get text messages of being like, did I miss the episode yet? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'll let you know when I know.
Yeah. I wouldn't say you missed it. Yeah. All right. We're running down on these dice. All right. 3. Hot 3 coming up. Wait, we already did this. Wait, how'd those end up back in there?
Oh.
It was Mother. Oh, here we go. Coincidence. Huh?
Okay.
Sure enough. We already saw that one too. Oh, I guess you know what? I could just roll it again and pick a different word on the same cube.
They have 6 different words and you're pulling out the cube?
Somehow. What a coincidence. Debate. Coincidence.
Those
debate.
usually go together well.
We're just going to mix it up. Scent. S-C-E-N-T. Wow. All right.
Wow. This might be the most random 3 ever that I really have no idea
random.
what that's going to turn into. Sweet.
All right, man.
Sweet. Well,
wow. These are just getting so easy.
Episode 11. That's
Look at
11 episodes.
Yeah.
That's,
well,
nope, that was 12. Wow.
All 12.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
We've
probably one
released
we could
11
not
as
count.
of right this moment.
Yeah.
Which is what I meant.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. The old baker's dozen.
Nope.
Hmm?
What's a baker's dozen?
It's 12 donuts. Made by a baker.
A baker's dozen is 13.
I'm a disaster.
A dozen is 12. I don't even know if you're kidding anymore. But no bakeries give you 13. That's all filthy lies. If you have a bakery that actually gives you 13 if you order a dozen, please comment.
Whoa.
Let us know.
That sounds like way too hot a topic for episode 12.
Yeah.
Let's save it for
I'm saying we need to do away with the term baker's dozen. That's all I'm saying. It's not a real thing.
Turn him off. Pull his mic.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of bakers acting like they own this place.
No.
Complete anarchy. Bagels.
The baker's union. The baker's
donuts. Rolls. It's all bullshit. I'm here to speak the truth. Damn the man. Save the empire.